Mm-hmm. New year, new network. Same stupid Tony Khan. Why? Why is the AEW World Title match on the opening card? Why is it the opener? I know some people are going to get on me because I tend to really disrespect and sometimes get at AEW's face a lot for dumb stuff when I don't get on WWE for much stuff. I actually do, and you know what? WWE has done the same things, but really, when you know that a marquee match is going to be the one match that gets the people going, energized, and you know that the main event is not going to be as good as it is and is going to die the crowd down, why would you do that match first? Why would you do that match last instead of doing it first? So when the main event happens, people are then more excited, they're drawn up, they want to be tuned in, and they don't feel a burnout. But, and by the way, welcome to the AEW Dynamite review. Back doing this again. Very interesting to see how people are going to take this review of this episode. But let me just get to that match. Bryan Danielson versus Hangman Page for the AEW World Championship. Absolutely phenomenal match of the night. Obviously, for many of reasons. And main reason was blood. It was a lot of blood, and while it was uncomfortable to watch for the most part, it was a very good showing of just how much they're going to sacrifice themselves for the title to make something happen, for winning, getting one chance at being a champion. I haven't seen Bryan bleed since his match on Monday Night Raw, which led to his retirement, and that was a match against Bad News Barrett. He got hit in the head, I think, with an elbow, and then suffered a bro kick and had a seizure afterwards. It was scary. Didn't know what was happening. Didn't know what was going on. I remember that night fully in detail. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. He had to relinquish the title. He had to go away for a couple months. He had to retire. And seeing him bleed like that, seeing all that blood that Bryan was drenching, unbelievable. There was so many good. It was such a good, well-paced barn. It was a fight. It was a fight. I loved the match, start to finish. Non-stop bloody action, which was physical throughout. I have no complaints with it. I mean, the blood was unreal, but hey, can't have your own way every time. Adam Page retaining, the right decision. Bryan doesn't need the championship, nor does he need it in his entire run. He's on the lines of he's there just to give the future a much better guide, in the sense of this is the future of wrestling. We're going to make sure that these guys get the right amount of understanding to know what they need to do. And that's the right thing. That's the right thing to do. Bryan doesn't need to win any championships. He doesn't need the AEW title. Doesn't need the TNT title. Doesn't need the tag titles. Doesn't need any titles. Just let him do what he likes and have match of the year, match of the decade candidates. This was a match of the year candidate for sure. Much better than their Winter's Coming match, which was 60-minute time limit draw, but this one felt much more investing, if I'll say. The Acclaim came out. Acclaim had a promo package on Darby and Sting. They're going to make a viral video next week. I'm not interested. I don't like the Acclaimed. MJF was going to be in action. Sean Dean, I think is what his name was, that he was facing. And then Punk came out. With the records now reset, MJF is now 0-1 because he lost via disqualification. Yeah, it was smart. It was really smart. And then the two had another incredible promo segment. A promo brawl, I should say. It was unbelievable. Punk just wants to whip MJF's ass. That's all he wants to do. And MJF doesn't want to give him the match just yet. He goes on this little nice spiel of whatever CM Punk says out of his mouth is fake and induces boredom. Last week he said he was done. He wants to be in the title picture. Now he's back being a hypocrite, going after MJF, just wanting to beat MJF because without MJF, Punk is nothing. That's what he said. And that he makes Punk relevant, and that Punk sold Khan and the people a bill of goods, and that he's no savior, MJF is. And then when MJF said that he was, the Piper, the Roddy Piper of today's generation, Roddy Piper was at least talented enough to main event a WrestleMania in response to Punk being upset about it. Man, that is... because I just listened to it again, and I'm re-recording this again because I couldn't get my thoughts out the first time. Because it's like, I was a little bit flustered, but still feel flustered. But at the same time, I still feel that energy because the promo was not that long ago. My God, this was awesome. Again, they're taking jabs at WWE, which is really, again, unnecessary. But this is honestly what I'm going to be expecting for the next forever, because AEW has a bunch of kids that run the promotion. Can't say they aren't kids, because they are kids. They're immature. They're irresponsible. That's fine. Unbelievable. And then Punk came back with a zinger himself after MJF was getting booed, and said if he doesn't get the respect that he deserves, he'll go and main event a Mania himself. Just alluding to the fact that he might go into WWE. Start a career there. And he's young. He's super young. I don't think that he's going to still build his talent, and WWE might change itself around and give people like MJF a chance. They might do that. And all Punk wants to do is beat MJF's ass, and that the grass is so green on the other side. Go and main event night 4 of a buy one get one free prop show and get released faster than you lasted in the sack. To which Punk then challenged him to a match, and MJF accepted, except he accepted it for Wardlow, which is going to happen next week on Dynamite. This is such good shit. It's redundant shit that remains fresh and somehow is still awesome to see. Just continue to push the idea that MJF's contract is running out and that he might make that jump to the WWE, and that he still can be this arrogant, cocky, selfish, self-centered, egotistical bastard that's going to probably jump ship and make people hate him even more. Awesome. It's awesome. Cody Rhodes and Sammy Guevara got a little promo for Battle of the Belts. Chris Jericho came out, cut a promo, rocking some darker hair. I think that's probably black hair dye. I don't know. Judas is still awesome in 2022. I miss listening to Judas and hearing the crowd popping for Judas. He popped the premiere AEW on TBS, saying this is the first time he's been on TBS since April of 1999, where he lost to Booker T. I think he cheated. And that was before his impending departure to WWE, to Monday Night Raw, with that iconic thing. We're not going to get into that, though. He said that he didn't come back to save Eddie Kingston, but to give some Le Champion revenge to 2.0, who putting him on the shelf 6 weeks ago, which is crazy to think he's been on the shelf for 6 weeks. Because, he was down and getting some trouble across the border. Anyways, 2.0 came out. Jericho called him Terrence and Phillip. And then 2.0 asked how the chair tastes. It didn't taste well. But you can't call him Square and Pinhead. Which is awesome. It's just... Jericho is hilarious, obviously. And then Jericho wanted to bash their heads in with a bat. Garcia tried to run in. Got hit with a bat. It was a 2.0. Garcia beat down on Jericho for just a little bit. But then Kingston and Santana Ortiz, Pride and Kingston. That's what I'm going to call them. P&K. Not bad. Pride and Kingston came out for the save. There's going to be a 6-man no-rules match on Rampage this Friday. Should be awesome to see. We got a Jake Atlas promo. He signed to AEW. proud for him. He's somebody that's got a lot of talent. He's going to be just fine wherever he goes. The Undisputed Era is back. I just miss Black and Gold. I just miss that they're not on Black and Gold no more. God damn it. In the future, maybe, I'm praying that they come back. I really pray. But Adam Cole made a challenge to Jake Atlas for, I think, this Friday. Yep. Adam Cole versus Jake Atlas this Friday. Should be a nice match. Cut the camera landing. That was funny. Wardlow had a little squash victory of himself with 5 war bombs. That's what I'm going to call them. I'm going to call them war bombs. I don't care what anyone says. Layla Hirsch and Chris Statlander have a little bit of dissension. We got the TBS title match between Jade Cargill and Ruby Soho. This was not a bad match, but hey, honestly, it was pretty decent. It felt like the first time I saw Jade Cargill on television on Dynamite back-to-back weeks for the first time in her career. And the first time in my life of watching Jade Cargill. It felt like this was the first time I watched her on Dynamite back-to-back weeks. Because it felt like she's always been on Dark. She's always been on Elevation. Or Elevation. It's like she's always been on those shows and doesn't get the big-time wins. Except for what she's doing right now. She's getting wins on Dynamite and on Rampage. But it wasn't bad. It just felt clunky in a little bit of ways. This was like the first real match that we got after like 2 matches that were pretty much more angles. And it felt clunky. It felt like, Ruby is dealing with an injury. Hopefully she's alright because I saw her grasping at her shoulder. She had like 2 like double surgery on her arms. Like, she's dealing with a lot of like arm issues, collarbone issues. Hopefully everything is alright with her and that she's going to be okay and she's going to be able to continue to compete for a little while longer. But congratulations to Jade Cargill. She's now the TBS champion, which is good for her. She gets to celebrate that with her daughter who was in attendance at the show. It was nice to see. And yeah, probably wouldn't have happened if Big Swole probably said something about it. Anyways, Serena Deeb had a little bit of an interview. Her intentions from the start was respect, and Sheeta got fluke victories over her. Something's eating at her, and JR thinks, and that she doesn't have anything eating at her, is that no one is on Serena's level. She has a PhD in wrestling for a reason, and that she's the professor, and she's going to take 17 years of frustration out on Sheeta next week. Should be a fun match. Malachi Black beat the absolute hell out of Brian Pillman Jr. Don't really need to say too much about that. With the Lucha Bros actually coming out for the save when Malachi was going to go after Julia Hart, because there's a little bit of history. I didn't know this. Pac's been out for a bit, probably due to COVID restrictions. I don't know. But Pac's been out dealing with his issues because he got blacklisted by Malachi Black. And so did Julia Hart. And Black has attacked not only Hart, but also put Garrison Kate on the shelf. And now Brian Pillman gets that, ass whipping that was most likely coming. That was definitely coming. It was going to come. And now you see Lucha Bros come out. They come for a stop. The lights go out. Black switch spots. Did people thinking it was going to be Pac that came back and returned? Not yet. That should be for next month with Revolution. Not that far around the corner. And now it's like that match is most likely going to happen again, and I'm ready for it. Ruby Soho had her promo cut by Britt Baker. She got laid out after Ruby pretty much said, for somebody that's lost to Riho and never beaten her, why don't you focus on her? And Riho tried to go for the save. Kind of didn't work. QT Marshall then cut a promo with Aaron Solo. I think that's what it was. Because Aaron Solo is facing Hook this Friday on Rampage. People like Hook. I don't see why. Stretch me if you can. survive if I let you. You gotta run down a Rampage, run down a Battle of the Belts, run down a Dynamite, and then the tag team title match. Christian Express. Good to see Christian again. I love Christian. And then the Lucha Bros do have a slap theme song that's a banger for most people's eyes, but not mine. What do I need to say? What do I honestly need to say? This was a fantastic match. It was awesome. Awesome match. Although there's some things that I didn't miss when I wasn't watching AEW. That stupid glove thing that Pentagon Jr. does. The little thing that he does, and does a little zero miedo in the opponent's face. The time spot stuff. Like, that's the stuff that I really hate. And they still do. Sometimes they're starting to hide that a bit, but you can see it within almost a lot of tag matches, especially when Lucha Bros are in the ring. You see that within the tag matches that they have. And I know a lot of people won't complain too much about it, but I'm going to set the standard right here and say that's the kind of stuff that really irritates me. Irritates me just a lot. I'm not somebody that's a fan of it. I don't enjoy it that much. But, yeah. It was an awesome match. And Jurassic Express won. They won the tag titles. I didn't think they were going to win the tag titles. I thought pretty much this would be the last time that they get a chance. And a roll-up. The most deadly finisher in the world. A roll-up. After Luchasaurus got taken down, Phoenix was taken out, and then Penta tried to go for Made in Japan, and that got countered into a roll-up by Jack Perry. Awesome. And there's some faces within the division that want their shot at the titles. Private Party, FTR, 2.0, The Acclaimed. There's a couple more faces. That tag division is stacked, I will not lie. But you also got to factor in the Young Bucks, Red Dragon, Inner Circle. There's a lot of tag teams in AEW. I like it. I love tag wrestling, and it's something that I'm going to be very much enjoyable to watch within the next months to see how Jurassic Express handles it. What's Christian going to do for himself? Is he going to win the Impact AEW World Title again? Is he going to be champion again in AEW? I honestly hope that he doesn't. He had that one reign, which was fine. It was a nostalgia reign, which is fine. It was an Impact title reign. He doesn't need the AEW World Title, and with the legendary success that he has, hopefully he can guide Jurassic Express as his tour guide. Oh, you got best friends too, Beretta and Chucky T. Jesus Christ, there's so many teams. There's so many teams within AEW. Oh my God, this was a good show. It's a good show. It was fun show with the right results, I feel, in the end. It was significant burnout from the world title match, which again, in my opinion, shouldn't have been the first match, even if the tag team title match ended the way it did. I liked the show, though. I did. Congrats to Jade again. The world title match was an absolute spectacular spot fest. The tag title match was a spot fest. The world title match was a brawl, a bloody brawl. And good to hear JR again on commentary after he successfully beat cancer. But I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. I'm not going to give it a 5 out of 5. It wasn't better than NXT last Tuesday. But it does get a boom. What do you think of NXT? I mean, not NXT. AEW in the comments. Let me know. Let me know in the comments what you thought about AEW is what I'm supposed to say. It was a fun show. Next week should be fun. Rampage should be fun. Battle of the Belts should be fun. I'm going to get those videos out after they go off air. I'm not going to oversleep this time. I'm going to get tested for COVID this coming Thursday. To see how I'm going to be And if anything, just hope that everything turns out well. But I'm going to say this. Follow all safety protocols. I am fully vaccinated. I'm asymptomatic if I do have COVID. So I don't feel any symptoms. I don't feel any side effects from it. I feel just fine. I still can move pretty well for myself and for everything that I have, because I keep a relatively healthy body. But then again, if that's fine if you're not healthy. It's fine that you're not fully strong, but at the same time, it's protect yourself. I got it to protect my mom. I got it to protect my family. I got it to protect my friends, my close friends, my girlfriend. And I want everybody to pretty much do the same. So please, even if you have skepticism, please go get vaccinated. It does help to try to get the country back to a normal. Even if you still can get COVID, it does not matter. It lessens the severity. It lessens the effects that you're going to have in the future. I love you all. Stay safe. Peace out.